Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm Hakan, and today we're going to be talking about root chakra. That grounding, fulfilling, stable energy that gives us a really solid foundation. And in case you don't have it already, a lot of this now comes that I'm pulling from and organizing the knowledge of chakras and how it all relates to personal well-being. It can also be found in my book, Mind, Body, Soul. I'll leave the link in the description box down below. You can find it on Amazon. Great self-journey for personal alignment. You're going to notice that as you go through it, it's not just 9 weeks of journaling and prompts, but it's also telling you to do certain yoga routines and certain workouts that correspond with the body in different ways with those chakras, and realizing that the different bits of inner work that you're doing along with this workbook is associated with those chakras, but it goes so much deeper than the typical things that we've always been told about our energy centers, like the color and what it's generally associated with. Now we're going deeper into a sense of real inner work and shadow work associated with each one. So check that out. Grab yourself a copy. You won't regret it. And if you want to work with me, I'll leave you a link to my calendar in the description box below too, because a lot of people find now, just like any textbook, you can buy it, you can do it yourself. You can choose to work with me right away. But a lot of people get into it and they go, shoot, I think I might actually want to do a session. So that as it is. Be that as it may. The root chakra, what is it all about? What is it? It's our foundational energy. It's our sense of security. It's also, when we think of martial arts, it's having a strong stance and a solid footing. It is not being able to be blown over, metaphorically and physically. And a lot of times when we hear about chakras, we hear about the colors and the things that they're associated with, the general things that they're associated with. But the first thing that comes to mind to me with, aside from it being associated with the color red and the feet, then the lower legs, is when we talk about the idea of not being able to be blown over. That, to me, the first thing that stands out is boundaries. Are you somebody who lets people walk all over you? Or are you somebody who stands up for yourself? Who stands up for what you believe in? Are you somebody who has a really solid sense of conviction? Now, confidence might fall in some of the other chakras as well. Solar plex is really thick with confidence, but I believe having a solid root is also having the ability to be assured with yourself. Now, we also see all those earthy elements of grounding, right? Like earthing, stepping outside, being outside. And if we thought about mindful grounding techniques for a moment, within the realm of mindfulness, we have lots of little mindful techniques that we could get grounded if you're feeling a little flighty or anxious, or maybe you just had a really active, busy day and you need to ground yourself. We could do mindful breathing techniques. You could just breathe for a few moments and sit and meditate with that. Or you could do counts. You could count 1, 2, 3, 4 in, out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would really help settle your mind down and ground you. Or a person could do a body scanning type meditation where they think about each body part and mentally scan through their whole body and think about how their body feels, how it's felt lately. There's quick ways you could do that, and there's faster ways you could do that. You could do a long body scan where you turn it into a long meditation, or you could be in the middle of a busy day and you could just do a little short body scan. Take 2 minutes to run your awareness through your whole body. And that would help you be more in body. And when I say in body, I mean it's really with your awareness within yourself and not off in your to-do list and in everything else that you have going on in the day. That being said, to me, the root chakra is also very ground in the physical body, where obviously different aspects and different chakras and different energy wheels will be found in different body parts, yes. But just as much as you could say that the crown was more associated with the skin, or the eye was with the eyes, or things like, or other elements like that, you could also say that being the fact that the root is the center foundation of who we are, it's your core of your being, that we could also associate it with the idea that if you were framing a house or a building, and different chakras also made up different layers of the house, or that the crown would be the roof, things like that, then you could also say that the root was the framework itself. So to me, my mind goes to the bones and deep muscle tissues and the muscles themselves, and your whole sense of nutrition in itself. Now, obviously, as you go through the chakras, you're going to find that different ones are associated with different foods and color therapies and things like that that are good for different body parts. But to me, there is this deep sense of being aware of how you treat your physical body itself that lies in the root. Because there's also this strong component within the root of, do you have a foundation in your life? Do you have a good solid routine? And do you hold yourself accountable? And so if you are stable in that sense, then when we think about our exercise, do you have a good exercise routine? Or do you have a good meal prep routine within your own day-to-day, week-to-week? Do you take a day every week to meal prep some of your meals, or even just taking the time to make a big salad? Things like that really help you start to feel like you have a great health routine. And now we can think about other aspects too. What's your health history with, what's your personal relationship with fitness? Or when it comes to food, what do you see as your personal relationship with food, your diet? What's your family's history with it? These are important questions to ask when we think about really doing our inner work in our physical self, because we can learn new recipes and follow color therapy for food all day long, but until we start really asking ourselves the deep questions, we'll be doing surface level work. That's why I like to go so much deeper with our energy centers, because there is depth there that I've learned how to take each energy center and apply all of my knowledge of health and fitness, as opposed to just simply looking at it like, listening to binaural beats and grounding or stomping our feet or dancing. Or those things are very good. Those things are really great to keep in mind. But if all we're doing is those things, then we're missing the deeper aspect of it. Right? The deeper depth to it. That being said, I'll touch back on routine for a minute. Humans are creatures of habit, not just children. It's not just your kids that need a good routine. I've talked about before around the idea that being somebody who has a good routine, developing a good routine for yourself, is kind of like being the parent for your own inner child. I like this idea too, that if I thought about the things that I needed to do with my own health and my own life, and looked at it like I was planning the weekly routine for my kid, how much more would I care about it? How much more would I push myself to do it if I was really being the parent for my own inner child? I mean, that's a big component of reparenting, is really showing up as the adult that you need in your life. And I know sometimes we joke about how adulting sucks at times, but it's necessary. It's necessary to show up for ourselves that way. And, when we do things in a repetitive way, like having a morning routine, a nighttime routine, and this framework that we can stick to, makes things so much easier. Not easier, so much more fluid when we can have that to fall back on. When you get up every day and you sit up and do a little bit of gratitude, and first of all, morning gratitude is a wonderful practice. But I start my morning with a little stretch, a cold shower, some gratitude, and feeling great about my day and putting energy and intention into what I'm going to do that day. And then I go about my day, and I might have an exercise routine of running a few times a week, doing a workout a couple times a week, maybe yoga once, and those things will fit throughout the week. And if we don't hold ourselves accountable to that routine, then it becomes very easy to fall off track. While at the same time, we are constantly in a state of being so addicted to our phones and our tech addictions that a lot of people nowadays go into their evening without a nighttime routine, without a specific time that they say, okay, TV goes off. I'm done scrolling on Facebook. Now it's time to do my bedtime routine, whether that looks like reading for a few minutes and maybe having a nighttime meditation, if that's something that you enjoy doing to settle down before bed. I really love to do a candle meditation before bed, where I just sit down in front of my altar and stare at this, and I'll light a candle and just stare at the candle flame. Excuse me. Just stare at the candle flame for 5 minutes. And it's a really great practice of settling down the mind and getting it to just focus on one thing. And now as we stare at it, your thoughts come in and they come out. And they come in and out. And what really helps before bed is you're not just activating your third eye and your ability to dream before drifting off to sleep, but it really filters out your thoughts before going to sleep. It's like thoughts go in, they go out, they go in, they go out. You're still staring at the candle. And it's a really powerful way of getting you to settle down your mind before sleep. It is a really great third eye meditation and scrying technique, and you can get a lot of really deep personal work done through candles meditation. So I won't touch too much more on it today, besides it's a really great way to have, it's a really great method to have into your nighttime routine. That being said, it becomes so much easier to drift off to sleep when we do things where we are not, say, watching TV or looking at blue lights in general, like looking at your phone right before bed. And when we take some time to really be with yourself and your own thoughts, and thinking about what you want to manifest right before bed. All those things are really great, really powerful things to think about before sleep, rather than having this routine of just watching TV until you fall asleep. It's very chaotic, and the blue lights make it hard to fall asleep just as much as your brain is in a high state of stress and convoluted fog, instead of bringing it back down and thinking about exactly what you want to be dreaming about, or simply just meditating and letting your thoughts flow in and out. With that being said, circling back to that idea of having really solid boundaries, I'll leave you with a few thoughts on boundaries that someone who has a really strong root foundation is not really concerned about other people who may break your boundaries or do things that trigger you, because a person who has a strong root foundation is like a strong tree that won't blow over. It's like the things that bother you could be the wind, but if you have a really strong root foundation, then it's not going to blow you over. You're not going to lay down for just anybody. You're not going to fold just because somebody makes you compromise your belief system or your values. And so this person is really strong-willed and knows exactly what they want out of life, and how their reality will play out. And that's the other thing. Your boundaries create your reality. They say, I will be treated like this and no differently. And when you dictate that out to the world and you say, this is how I will be treated, then you're telling the world exactly how you insist that your reality should look. And now they will treat you accordingly. Because if they don't, well, then you could simply walk away or stand there tall like a tree and say, no, you move. Now, I'll leave you to interpret that yourself. But to me, all of these components really build a strong root foundation. It's not just simply earthing or connecting to grounding techniques or the color red or eating peppers, strawberries, or any of those things. It's all of the things, and it's scratching the surface on a deeper level and doing the work. At the same time, if you find yourself feeling abandoned or having abandonment issues, restlessness, head in the clouds behavior, having a lack of focus with life, or excessive feelings of insecurity and living in survival mode, perhaps even having eating disorders or excessive negativity, feeding into negative vibration, negative energy, that low vibe energy, then your root could be something that you really need to work on. So I'll leave you with that, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a great week. I love you. Bye.